Hey everyone, and welcome back to Master Site. Today I have the Adepticon preview and my Night Stalker army review for you. And It's going to be a good one. Looking forward to this event. Haven't pulled out the Night Stalker since last year's Adepticon. Got a couple minor tweaks, so I think it's going to be fun. So let's go ahead and dive into the tournament pack real quick, and then we'll take a quick look over the list. All right, so the Adept Clash tournament pack, March 23rd and 4th this year. Um, I don't think anything's really changed from last year. I just want to call out a couple of things for those that haven't been to Adepticon or haven't seen last year's videos. Um, in general, we always use withdraw here in the U.S. The one of the unique thing is turn 7 is not timed, so it's not on a clock. But I think if you clock out before turn 7, that you can't then play on a turn 7, so you have to have some time left. Uh, we'll see, get clarification on that, but usually uh, I try to I like to be a little bit more lenient when it comes to clocks anyway. I don't like games where my opponents clock out. Um, but yeah, 2,300 points, no allies, and then Ronnie the Bard, which they'll cover, but effectively it's give a unit self-inspiring, and then the that unit counts as additional victory points to keep alive and for your opponent to kill. Um, Prizes. So Mantic. They still have in here that there's a special award for the best overall with a 90% Mantic army. Um, I don't know if that's actually happening or if this is just left in there from when they had plane tickets and whatnot. Because I know last year they were supposed to award the winner with some special fan art that they would help design and put it into the book. Um, but my clubmate and buddy Travis Tim won that, and I know for a fact that never happened. So we'll see if having a 90% Mantic army actually makes a difference or not. But uh, they encourage that. My Night Stalkers are 90% Mantic, so I was gonna be. I'll be ready for that either way if that happens. Otherwise, pretty basic stuff. They put in here no allies several times. Ronnie the Bard, self-inspiring. Uh, and then bonus tournament points, which we'll go over at the end. Oh, if you bring a 90% Mantic army, they're apparently handing out Ronnie the Bastard models. I think that's the one where he's like a half demon, half bard. So cool. Uh, Otherwise, pretty standard army restrictions, nothing unique there. Painting, there's they don't have the rubric out here, but apparently there's going to be a self-judging section and a paints judging judges painting section. Um, so we'll see if it's similar to what they had last year or if something's switched up at all. Um, do tournament rules, schedule, pretty standard schedule. Let's get down to the scoring. Um, uh, Standard win loss draw. So 15, 10, 5. They got a couple unique things here that I don't expect to happen, or I hope they don't really come up. But if anybody just concedes for some reason, they get 0 victory points. So even if you lose, you just better sit there at the table. Don't concede. Timing out apparently is a -1 tournament point. I do think that's pretty harsh when, timing out means you can't play for the rest of the game. I feel like that should be the punishment itself. And then late scores. -2 tournament points for both players. It's pretty harsh if it's strictly enforced, but hopefully it's something that's just in there as a well, can be enforced if it's pretty egregious. But I know we want the tournament to keep moving and whatnot on time. Um, so hopefully nobody Smith scores late, but if hopefully you know it's a little bit of a discretionary thing. I would hate to submit something 1 minute late and get docked for it. So, and then it's kill point differential. So, pretty tough to get a big victory with the kill point side of things. Um, Difference, I would say most differences are going to land in the 0 to 500 range or the +1 just above that. In 2,300 points, you have to have a certain type of army to really get the 1,000+ differential range. So we'll see if that happens. I expect my Night Stalkers will not be seeing anything besides a +1 or a 0 because they're built to die and just kill more stuff than what dies. But I usually lose at least half my army. So, and then the bonus points. So you get +1 tournament point for routing your opponent's bard, and +1 point if you keep yours alive. So you select a unit after deployment, and that unit gets the self-inspiring bard or token. So yeah, you're just trying to keep that alive. I do think Night Stalkers kind of play into that pretty well because even though I want to go kill the unit with that, uh, self-inspiring still triggers mind thirst, so we can steal the inspiring from them. So yeah, and me having one of my units inspiring doesn't really matter a whole lot, so I'll probably just try to strategically place it on units that will not be in harm's way um, throughout the games. So yeah. So overall points, there's a possibility of 100 battle points, capped out at 25 for painting and 25 for sports. I believe for submitting your list on time and having two lists, at least two lists available day of, you get like 10 of those 25 sports points. And there's always, good easy ones on checklists usually. So the sports points should be pretty easy to get close to max. And at least the way it looked for the painting rubric, you score yourself out of 20 points possible. The judges score out of 20 points possible. So if all 40 of those points and then they just cap it at 25, that should be a pretty easily attainable goal, hopefully. But uh, it could be different than that. Didn't see the full rubric, so not 100% sure what to expect. But either way, pretty big emphasis on the battle side of things versus the painting and sports as far as percentages go. So, yeah, pretty straightforward. I don't think there was anything else. Yeah, they just go over don't submit them late. They have the penalties in there again. So, all right, so let's go ahead and take a quick look over my list. So the Night Stalkers return. We got a little bit of an adjustment. I think last year I did not take my exact Masters list, even though that Masters list from Seattle had gotten nerfed a bit. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I only had those models basically, and I had a Shadow Hulk on top, so I ended up adding in a Shadow Hulk and sacrificed a couple units. So this time we're truly going with as close to the Masters list from Seattle as possible. So So got the standard 4 hordes of scarecrows. The new unit I'm trying out is the new tormentors. So I got 2 troops of those. They're replacing the troops of reapers that I had before. So a little bit less attacks, lower defense, but we're faster. We have Strider and the Leaper rule, so we can see over the scarecrows that we're sitting behind. And we're nimble and flying. So I mean, less attacks, but a lot of times these guys are going to be, I think, pretty useful in the list because I struggled really peeling stuff out of terrain. So having a couple extra Strider pieces in the list is gonna be nice. So I got 3 regiments of Soul Flares, one with J boots, another with the Helm of the Drunken Ram, and the last one with Blade of Slashing. We have 2 Mind Screeches as God intended with the Lightning Bolt options. We have 2 Horror Riftweavers, which are a little sad. They only have Spell Ward, not Aura Spell Ward, but you know they were too good before. So we got the new Butcher Fleshrippers, so they went up 5 points, and they, instead of being a dash 14, they became a 13-15 with Fury. So I think this is actually going to be slightly better for the way that they've played, just because they're actually the toughest unit in my army to take out. Everything else is pretty low nerve or high nerve, but low defense. Um, these guys at defense 5 with stealthy, a 13-15 is the second highest nerve in my army, maybe third, the Dread Fiend, but they have the highest defense. So these Butcher Flesh Rippers have always been money. The Fury, they'll stick around longer. They'll have a little bit less play when it comes to being able to charge other things with their nimble, and if they were fighting infantry, to kind of see around and nimble pivot around. But I think that they'll do well. Stick around. There's a lot of times where that dash 14 was right on what people needed to kill them, so they'll live a little bit longer in certain situations, and then they'll you know get wavered outside of combat in others, and I'll be sad. But I think at 120 points, they're still pretty solid pieces. And then I have the Dread Fiend with the Trickster's Wand. So we got 17 drops, 28 unit strength. Um, yeah, I'm pretty excited to give this a try. And I think one of the things that I'm really excited about is I actually get to play this list and do a slight rematch. I did challenge Corey Reynolds to play in our first game at Lone Wolf, which Corey was one of the players that I played in Seattle Masters, and he was playing the old school Twilight list at that point. So he's bringing his Twilight but obviously they've gotten a facelift, and my Night Stalkers got taken down a little bit. So I don't really know what Corey's list is with his Twilight Kin, but I imagine it's going to be fairly balanced in general. He usually doesn't play skew lists one way or another, so I think I should do all right against a balanced list. But if he does go heavy lightning bolt, we are definitely going to miss the aura spell ward. So we will see how that goes. But I'm really looking forward to that game and just hanging out and playing with Corey in general. So I haven't seen him since he hosted me at Crossroads last year. Yeah, otherwise for the weekend, I am going up with one of my club mates, Tim Lonis, who uh, also many people will know him because he runs War Chest Creations. Um, And both of us are playing in the firefight event on Friday night beforehand. Um, I know last year Tim played in everything. He did the team tournament, Armada, Firefight, and Clash. I did Armada, Firefight, and Clash. Um, but I mean, the Friday before doing Armada and Firefight, it was just too much. So uh, I told Tim, I'm like, hey, you play whatever you want, man, but I don't think I can do all of those events. So um, he said he kind of agreed and said, yeah, it's just a lot. So we're gonna hang out. We'll be getting in on Thursday evening. We'll hang out and whatnot, and then we'll sleep in Friday morning, and we'll go play Friday afternoon and evening with Firefight. So yeah, it should be a good event. Really looking forward to seeing people that I normally don't get to see too often. So, um, yeah, I'll just keep it short and sweet there, and I will be back with the first round and let you guys know how the game against Corey went. Appreciate you all for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.